Hello everyone, and welcome back to another mathematics video. And in this video I want to answer a question and start talking about this idea of distance. And specifically, I want to look at how we can calculate the distance between points when we know that the points are equal in the y-axis. So this means that the x values are different, but the y values are the same. And I think it's best to do this by looking at an example. What is the distance between 2 points, 1, 3, and 3, 3? And I think it's best to sort of work this through starting with just simply graphing the points out. So we have the point 1, 3, so that's 1 over on the x, and then we go 1, 2, 3 on the y. And we can put a point down here at 1, 3. So this is the point 1, 3. And then let's put our other point down at 3, 3. We'll do this one in green. So we go 3 units along the x-axis, and then 3 units up along the y-axis to right about here. And this is the point 3, 3. And then what we want to know here is we want to know, what is this distance? Right? What is this distance? Right? What is this distance? Well, it's pretty clear just from looking at the graph here that this distance is 2. Right? But how did we get to this point, or how would we get to this point if we didn't have the ability to graph it out, if we didn't have graph paper in front of us? Well, what I want to do really quickly is I want to sort of use some nomenclature or define some terms here. So we'll have point 1, and then we're going to define point 1 as x1, y1, and we're going to have point 2 as x2, y2, right? So in this case, our point 1, we'll do this in blues to be consistent, right? Our point 1 is 1, 3. So x1 equals 1, y1 equals 3. Right? And then our point 2 here is 3, 3. Right? And in this case, x2 is 3, and y2 is 3. So if we go back to answering this question about, well, what is the distance, right? If we look here at the graph that we made, right, we could tell very quickly that, oh, the distance here is just along the difference in x values, right? Because the y values were the same, the distance here was that difference in x values. So what we can say here, putting this in sort of mathematical notation, we can say if, right, if y2 equals y1, right, if the y values are the same, which they were in this case, they were 3, y1 was 3, and y2 was 3, right, if y2 equals y1, right, then we can use these 3 dots here. This is then, right, this means then. This is mathematical notation, right? If y2 equals y1, then, right, distance is simply equal to the absolute value of x2 minus x1. Right? If the y values are the same, right? If we're not changing y as we change x, right? Then the distance is just the distance along the x-axis, right? Which would be the second point minus the first point. And you take the absolute value here because you can't have negative distances. So that should actually make sure that is a 1. Right? x2 minus x1. So let's just quickly look with this. Let's just go back with our colors here and just do this example one more time using our formula. Right? So we know that y2 equals y1 because they're both 3 here. So we know that our distance then has to be our x2, which is 3, right? Absolute value of x2, which is 3, minus our y, our x1 here, which is this case is 1. And again, that's the absolute. Actually, let me do the absolute value in white so we don't get confused. Absolute value here is in white, and make our minus symbol here in white as well. Right, so our distance is equal to 3 minus 1. So in this case then our distance is equal to, and then 3 minus 1 is 2. Right, so distance here equals 2. And we're able to do that because y2 is equal to y1. So hopefully that made sense. If it doesn't, or if any part seemed confusing, I would encourage you to go back, rewatch the part you're confused about, and as always, please reach out. Thank you.